Hello, everyone, and happy Earth Day to anyone that is listening to this on the 22nd, which is when Sue and I are recording this video. So, to get us started, Sue, Arcturians, would you like to lead us in with a little bit of breath work so we can be more aware and more mindful of our bodies and our energy?
All right. So, what we would like to ask you to do first is that your spinal column, whether you're sitting or standing, but your spinal column can just sit on itself. And so that would be like a perfect posture, but to most people, it feels like you're putting your head back. But um, but making that energy field so that the energy that comes in through the crown of your head then moves through your brain, then goes in down your throat and down all of your different chakras, and then down your legs and into Gaia. So humans are meant to be grounders of the light. And especially within this now, that it's getting closer and closer to that transmutation. There is a transmutation. And what a transmutation is, that something kicks into a higher frequency of resonance. And this higher frequency of resonance is getting ready to kick in. All right. All right, so we just take a long, slow, deep breath, breathing in. 1, 2, 3, close, out, 2, 3, 4. You're going to progressively get the outflow bigger than the inflow. So inflowing, 1, 2, 3, close, relax, relax. Out, 1, 2, 3, 4, calm, calm, calm. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How long can you go? Holding your breath and then slowly, slowly releasing through your mouth, through your mouth. And in fact, now this time as you breathe in, just naturally breathe in and feel right where your crown, where your crown is, right there. It's like the opposite of your forehead, but just above it. You can feel it. A little soft spot there. Okay, so that's your crown chakra. You're gonna bring that light. You're gonna go up higher, higher, higher. And you're going to remember love. Think of a time in your life where you experienced love, where someone loved you. And as you just stand still, take a long, slow, deep breath. And that's a very good way to get into a meditation quickly. Now, you've all heard the darkest night is just before dawn. Well, we've had some of the darkest night going on here. But people have just done so wonderfully. I mean, we would say humanity of Earth, A+. Good job. Really good job. I mean, wow. The humans have evolved immensely. And it's a worldwide evolution. The whole world was experiencing the same thing at the same, well, according to whatever their time zones were, of course, but, and also because it has been the whole earth, these energy fields are able to go even into the very core of Gaia. The very core of Gaia.
Yes, thank you for sharing that update on the energies and where we are currently at in this now. And I feel that it's interesting to see how many people indeed are taking that choice, no matter how big or small it might appear to be from their perspectives, but knowing that energy out is energy back, we are giving energy out and back to ourselves to keep growing and to keep expanding. And as we do so, we are connecting that energy field to the planet, and we are creating new Earth. We're creating something together, and that's happening, like you all said, on a global level, on a planetary level. And as we connect with the core of Gaia, how does this connect to our own chakras and our breath? Because I know we were talking a little bit about the importance of breath work in some of our last couple of videos. So maybe you could touch on that, on how our core and Gaia's core are interconnected together.
Yes. Okay, so if possible, and if you're driving or something, please pull over, because it does kind of trance you out, and that's not a good way to be in your car. Just park it. I saw a YouTube or a little thing on the computer a while back, and one of the things that happens as our consciousness expands more and more, we have more different things that we remember that we have had going on. It's like our brain can hold more than it used to. Okay, so now let's start off by sitting tall, making sure sitting or standing tall. If you need to sit, then that's fine. But make sure that your feet go down to the ground, because you want to be grounded. And you want to remember that it comes down and goes throughout your whole body, whether you're sitting or standing. But let's just pretend we're all standing, even though most people will be sitting. All right, so we're going to just take a long, slow, deep breath. Now we'll start with the inhale. And very often, that inhale is a way that your body tells you to calm down, because you'll go, you're tired, you've pushed yourself a little too much, or you're, oh no, that's not a good one. That breath means you really need to stop and relax. And our breath speaks to us all the time, that our breath is showing us how we are operating, and if we're grounded enough. Because if we ground that energy field all the way down, as if we take this higher dimensional energy, because we know that it's higher dimensional energy, because if it weren't, we wouldn't align ourselves with it. We're all really learning to discern the different frequencies of reality, the different frequencies of situations. And this is a fifth-dimensional skill. A fifth-dimensional skill is one that is based on the here of the now. In other words, time and space are no longer separate. They have merged into this oneness, this higher frequency oneness. And so when you think something, it instantly opens a time zone and fills with a space of the vision of what you had just thought. So you are truly the creator of your reality. Would you like to talk a little bit about that? Because that was pretty confusing. So people might want you to translate that one. You're very good at grounding the energy field.
Yes. So the analogy that I really enjoy is if you were to, let's say, wake up in the morning and you're really, really tired, and you are like, okay, I can either drink 3 cups of coffee or I can do a little jog outside and that'll make me feel good. So if you were to do the little jog outside, you would gradually, as your heart rate starts to increase, as the blood starts to flow to your muscles that are working, as the wind is hitting your face as you're running, you're going to start to gradually, oh, my energy levels are just naturally raising up. It's a slow and gradual process. Versus if you had the 3 cups of coffee all at once with a bunch of espresso shots in it, it would wake you up, but it would get you so jittery that, well, I don't know what to do, my whole body's shaking. And that's a good example of being grounded versus being ungrounded. When you're ungrounded, there's so much energy coursing through your body and through your being that it almost becomes distressing and you don't know what to do with all of it. You just have to kind of like wait it out until the shaking stops. Versus going on that run, that little jog in the morning, it's slower, it's not as easy as just taking a drink, but there's almost a sacredness behind it because you put your shoes on, you get your mindset on, you put in your headphones, and you just start moving. You don't know how that's going to look, how your run's going to look, but you just know that I'm going to feel better. I'm going to feel a little bit more energized if I just move. And it's not to say that drinking coffee's bad and running's the best way and you should replace it, but it's just to give that analogy of, okay, I'm grounding down my energy differently than I am in this other way. It's finding like what works for you and then building a habit and building a routine from that. And that's going to be different with everybody.
Yes, and I know the times that I am in the habit. I love it. And then some really important thing happens and I have to do this and blah, blah, blah. Then by the time I go back, I forgot to go back into the habit. And then I'm racing around for things. I wait a second here. Maybe I should get grounded. And that's very common. That's life in the third dimension. Especially if there's anything fearful going on. Of course, there's nothing fearful going on now, right? Yes, there's just this weird thing that's going around. I mean, oh, humans of America, you are doing amazing. Humans of all of Europe, you are doing amazing. Humans of all the northern worlds and all the southern worlds and all of Gaia are doing amazing. You are keeping your calm. You are listening to what experts are telling you. You are finding a way to fill your life while you're in your house, sometimes alone, for who knows how long. You are finding something to do that you enjoy doing and you like doing it. And so when this is all over, you can say, wow, look what I did. This was a hard time. This was a hard time. But doing this, oh, wow, that was really helpful. That really helped me to be a creative being, to be the one who's creating your own life. You don't want some unknown, whatever that is, to create your life. No, people get upset about that. They want to be the creators of their life, right?
Yes. And being the creator of your reality is basically just chalking everything up to, hey, you've got a choice of what you want to experience and what you want to do. And there's an empowerment from that. There's an empowerment from knowing that, okay, if I want to perceive something, if I want to be doing something, then I'm just going to do it. I don't have to look at the barriers that I'm perceiving to doing that. I just have to find what works for me to get started on that path and to build that habit, to build that energy field, whatever it may be. And to know that you're capable of doing something like that for yourself, that's a responsibility, but it's also to show you that you can make an impact, not just on your own life, but the lives of everyone around you, the life of the planet. And no action is going to be too small when it comes from the heart. So being very intentional about the reality in which we're all creating can be easily seen from just looking at where we're at now. And if we look at what we're doing and who with, and to see all the factors that have built up to see like where we are at today, we created the reality in which we're living now. So if that's true, then we can create the reality in which we would want to live.
Yes. And there is also a blending of realities, because one of the things that is occurring, and it will be occurring, but it will only be visible to ones who are able to allow that information into their mindset, because it will be a totally different version of yourself, that you will begin to remember that you are not just a third dimensional self that has a physical body on a physical planet. You will remember that you are a multi-dimensional being, and you have many dimensions. Now, if you think about it, when you were just a human, when you were being just a human, you were using maybe 10% of your DNA, maybe 10% of your brain power, maybe more, but not much more. And then you just use this other percent and it just flies out. It's like there's this place where it's like when you take the leap off the waterfall into the deep water below, and you stand there and you look down and you go, whoa, this is a pretty steep waterfall. I wonder how deep is that water? How deep? I want it to be really deep if I'm going to jump from the waterfall. Okay, so you're going to do some research. You're going to think about it. That's good. That's careful, right? Now, you know more about that kind of physical research. I'm going to lend this over to you now.
Yes, and thank you for that analogy of the waterfall. I think that's so wonderful. And I think it's so wonderful because it's representative of an unknown. And every single thing that we're doing in our lives now at one point was an unknown. And how did it become known? How did we all of a sudden get comfortable with our partners or our spouses, if that's who we have? How did we get comfortable with a move to a new house or a new state or a new country? How did we get comfortable with awakening? That's even bigger, right? So knowing that, yes, we are facing an unknown. We are about to jump into that waterfall, but it's not the first time that we've done this. And something that has stuck with me that you, the Arcturians, have shared is the ability to write out your life and to look at your own story and to see that, hey, this is nothing new. You are the creator of your reality, meaning you have been the knowing behind all of the unknowns in your life. You've made it known. So that's a powerful thing to recognize. And it takes that moment of reflection to be able to do that.
Well, one thing that the Arcturians were telling me as you were talking, I could totally follow both conversations, which is like, whoa, that's pretty cool. But it's because probably the Arcturians were talking in a different way to a different portion of probably to my aura, but it's time for me to just say this. I've been getting this from them for quite a while. And so the them that I'm talking about are the Pleiadians, because the Pleiadians are like Gaia's sister. They love Gaia. And if one really spends some time, not that I have any expertise at all about astrology, but I'm in love with it. And I'm in love with the sky, and I'm in love with nature. I'm in love with Gaia. She's the girl, man. She rocks. And and you notice that with this horrible thing that's happening, nature is doing just fine. Now, I don't know what that means, but it's gotta mean something.